We'll get started in just a couple minutes, just testing out some audio. What is up, everyone? Bane Games. One of my newest subscribers on Twitch gave me a challenge. I wouldn't really call it a challenge. I'd call it more of a content idea. So I'm going to roll with it. We will see what we can do with it. It's an incremental game idea, as you can see here. The idea, I just kind of read through it. There's a couple things that I want to address, kind of walking through real quick. I did get a CodePen account, so I'm just going to use that rather than do something on an actual server to worry about all that fun stuff. So we'll just do it right in the CodePen. And then as we go through this, I'll share the link once we're finished, and you guys can take it from there. So I understand the idea here is that you get your idle gain from money, and you get your active currency from XP. You must interact with the page to actually get XP. So I'm guessing like button clicks. Over here, though, we kind of start talking about how you get to simulate your job for money in the start. But then you've got random bills you have to pay for. So technically, if I don't have a way of actively gaining money, you might not have enough money to cover the bill, and it could dig you in a hole automatically. So I want to think a little bit more about that. But we can just basically get right into it and get started. I have a blank CodePen, so we have to actually set it up from scratch. Nothing's actually working on here yet, so we're gonna go ahead and get some stuff. Ooh, they changed it up a little bit. We don't want a preprocessor. We want to add jQuery. Is 3 okay? Yeah, 3 should be okay. I haven't played with jQuery 3 as much, so we'll see. I will address a couple things in here. One thing is for jQuery, or any idle game. We'll just start with any idle game. There's normally a frame by frame type function, so it's an interval function that serves as your master control for your incrementing on everything and your timing on everything. So if you think about how this would work, you might have, just for starters, you might have something like money equals 0. And then inside your time function, this isn't obviously the code, but inside the time function, then you might do something like incrementing your money. But then also inside that same time function, you need to update the display for the money. So with jQuery or plain JavaScript, even with an interval function, you have to actually query the DOM query the HTML, if you will, and actually issue an update. If you use something like Angular, for example, you can actually do data binding, which means you don't actually have to do the updating of the display. So we don't really need to worry about that part right now. But what we will do is let's just get some basic stuff working. So let's just get a button. Cool. And we'll just make sure our jQuery is working as well. I don't know if CodePen allows updates. Hey, it does. Cool. So that's good. So we do have the ability to use jQuery, which is good. So we can actually do some basic setup here. So a couple things to note. We've got some forms of payment or currency. We've got XP. We've got levels. We got XP. We've got money. So there's an idle and active currency. So let's get rid of this because that's going to annoy the hell out of me. So what we'll do, we'll get some basic setup going. Currency dot what do I want to do? I don't really necessarily want to call it active and idle, and we'll just do single word for now. We'll optimize this as we go. So we'll do XP equals 0, money equals 0, so that takes care of those. Levels can be a user object type deal. Achievements, we're not worried about that right now. Profile customization, avatar and username edit. Progressing the game unlocks profile features. Cool. Simulate life by clicking. Start with a low-paying job and no partner. Okay, so there's this concept of dating, it looks like. Low-wage work for money and start. Work and salary change depending on the money earned or XP gained. So promotions. Okay, so we can probably set up the levels on those. Upgrades get altered depending on the current job to make them suitable. So we need to understand how the upgrades work. So from what it sounds like, there's a set of upgrades for each type of job promotion, if you will. So let's say you start off as like a data entry clerk. Upgrades might be like a typing class to help you do your work faster. Whereas if your next promotion is like an office manager, an upgrade might be like business classes or HR classes, something like that. I can understand that. I can get behind that. Dating sim. When you reach a set balance or level, you unlock the dating feature. Selecting a girl from the list and buy gifts to raise her affection to progress the date faster. It's starting to sound like Hoonie Pop. Dating should last in 5 stages of increments as it progresses before they're officially partners. Okay. Pop-up random events. Pop-up bills. Pop-up lottery. So Monopoly. Various shop items. Time-based XP boost 5, 10, 30. Time-based money boost 5, 10, 30. Okay. So let's do thinking. Player profile with customization. Base 64 avatar and username edit. Basic game idea. Simulate life by clicking. Start with the low paying job and no partner. Okay. So let's start with the idea of your job. We need to attach some form of upgrade. We need to attach some form of money to the job based on the level. So for now, what we can do, let's just do it all with some math to start, and then we can later on go through and give it names, for example. So we'll say current job level is equal to 1. Current salary level is equal to 1. Make it really plain and simple. Give this an ID. Work button. Work. Cool. We need to set up where our currency is going to be displayed. So we'll do money. we'll start it off with 0. And then we need an XP span ID. Span. All right, cool. So we have some form of hey, what's up? Yeah, I get the idea behind it. There's some things we need to tweak with it, but I think it's definitely doable. So we'll just get some raw stuff running right here, and then we can work on running through it later. So to me, the XP should actually be the yeah, okay. I guess that'll work either way. Like when you working's gonna happen on an interval, like an update function. So basically when you load the page, you're gonna be making money right off the bat. Yeah, so we'd want to get we'd want to get a set update function stuff going, an interval function up and running. So let's go grab that real quick. I never remember what they are. It's easier for me to just do that. All right, cool. So we have this function. We're actually going to call it something. We'll just call it, go out of here. No, stop echoing. Okay. Oh, come on, get out of there. Set interval function, we'll call it update. Save. Okay, cool. So this function update is actually now going to be running every 3 seconds. We'll want it to run a little faster than that, so we'll just set it up for 1 second at a time. And then some other options we could possibly do is come up with ideas to start lowering that. But yeah, I get the idea. So we have this function here called update. So right off the bat, we're going to be doing some things in here. First thing is we're going to be incrementing our money each time based on the current salary level. In this case, it'll be 1. So what we can do is just say money plus equals current salary level. But then we also need to update the display on everything. So what I'm going to recommend we do is kind of daisy chain a couple functions here. So we have an update function, but then we also are going to build an update display function. And what this is basically going to do is go through and assign all this stuff accordingly. So if we did display money dot text, it's going to be, wow, I cannot spell, money. So if we run this, for example, we see this should be running. What happened? Display money dot text money. Why you no work? Oh, there's a console here. That's cool. Wait, can I not daisy? I think I can't daisy chain that. Bro. Whoa, wait a minute. Something's not right here. Okay, that works. Set interval. Running the update functions. Let's do this. Run update. Oh, that's it? It just decides to run once? I don't have to do window dot. Oh, no. That's because I'm dumb. When I deleted the this alert hello world part, I deleted the wrapping function. I didn't want to do that. Yeah. Get out of there, I know. Whoa, that's gonna get really annoying. Save. Okay. Update. Okay, cool. So now we'll see run, update, run. We see our money incrementing accordingly, which is good. So that's working, functioning. Yay. No issues so far. So let's go ahead and move our display update back in. We should still see the same thing. Once I call the function. So we go to 0, 1, 2, cool. We can get rid of here now, because we don't care about you. We can just get rid of the whole thing. We don't really necessarily need an onReady function quite yet. So yeah, we have this idea here of gaining money. Now you could set up multiple set interval functions if you want, like multiple threads running in the background. This one is set for every 1 second. We might want to set up like a display one that runs every half a second, depending on how often our other intervals run. And I think to start, we can probably just run everything off of one function, one update function at least, to play around a little bit with. So I'm just going to lower that just a little bit so we can see everything. Cool. So one of the things we want to do is get our little work button doing something to gain us some XP. So to do that, we are going to need our document ready so we can attach the click action on it. So let's go ahead and get that back in there. And I apologize for the clickety-clack of the keyboard. If it's really loud, oh well. Not much we can do about that. So to do that, we're going to do our work button selector. This is just my practice. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. But I do it this way. Seems to work. For what I'm trying to do. Wait, something's not right. Off, on, click. Off, on, oh yeah, I guess. Oh no, yeah, we're good. Okay, cool. Cool. For this, we're basically gonna do the exact same thing. So XP plus equals, we'll do 1 for now, but one thing we also do need to do is in our update display function is update our XP display. So if I do this, so see how this is not happening instantaneously? That is something we want to kind of counteract. So instead of putting it there, let's put our display update for that portion right there. So now when I click this, it's independent of money, so it's a little bit more responsive. I think that probably makes a bit more sense. So now we want some type of achievement. I don't understand what badges necessarily are, but one thing that I do know for achievements is you normally need some type of display for them or some type of a notification for them. I recommend using something called Notify.js. Notify.js is a great little library that gives you some nice fancy little pop-ups that are modular. It's based out of jQuery. Works out pretty good. So first thing we should probably look at is upgrades. Okay, so we have our div here for our currency. We have our work button. I'm just going to leave that standalone for right now. Let's get a div set up for our, that's really annoying how it's like an extra couple spaces there. Let's get a div set up for our upgrades. So the first thing we kind of want to do, I'd like to get to a point to where these are kind of updated dynamically, for example. That not a big deal right off the bat. Again, this is just to kind of get the groundwork going, and then we can kind of start upping this and fixing it as we go on. So actually one thing I want to do is give it a name. Ooh. So one thing that first says is progressing the game unlocks profile features and player profile with customization. So maybe the first upgrade is build profile, buy profile. So let's just go ahead and just get another button going. That is not an input. Cool. upgrade profile. So if we think about the whole point of an upgrade profile is it gives us the ability to yank something out of there. So when we click it, we want it to basically go away. So let's get a quick little. That is not an H3. Cool. So what we want to do is do this. Shamiri, I can fork the pen and design it, and maybe make badges too for the achievements. Maybe have it like collab. Yeah, we can do a collab on it. That's not a problem at all. I have no problem with that. If you're gonna do design work for it, we probably want like a tabbed interface, and then we can unlock the things. I had this idea of making a game where you start with basic HTML like this, and as you kind of upgrade your life in the game, you actually buy upgrades to the interface to make it look nicer and nicer. So if that's something you want to add into this little challenge, that's something we can definitely do. So when I buy a profile, essentially something should happen. It should unlock a certain area. So something like this might be, just to kind of give you an idea here, something for this, you might do something like this to say profile unlocked false, for example. So inside of here, if I did another little div here, and we'll just call it profile. So again, with Angular, you can data bind this to a specific variable, so it shows hides based on that. But again, because we're not using Angular, we're using jQuery for this. You can use either or. It's easier for me to use jQuery, mainly because I'm sick of Angular staring at it at work all day. We're basically going to add in our little update function to basically hide this or show it once that is purchased. So if we did this, profile unlocked, yay. Now it's going to show by default right here. We don't really want that. Let's put a H3 in there. So we don't want this to show on load until I hit that. So again, we can use CSS if we want to basically kill that from the display. When I click on this specific button now, so again, we need to add that click action. If I run that, I want to say profile unlocked is equal to true, for example. This isn't really going to mean anything for the display side. We're actually going to just manually tell the display, hey, it's okay to show that now. But that's going to be important. We can just do show, I guess. And then what we can do is actually hide the button. So now what happens is, let's say you have enough money for it. We don't have the logic in there, but I can click buy profile. Yay, profile's unlocked. So from a design perspective, that might be something like on the upgrade tab, when you have the ability to purchase that upgrade, you click it, a new tab gets unlocked or is now visible. So there's a few things we can do with that now. We can build a profile object up here in our JavaScript using like JSON or something. We don't have to. You can do all individual variables if you want. Excuse me. But then over here, we'll add that little form element to actually do that. So we might say something like, hey, profile's unlocked, yay, but nothing's there. And what you can do is then have a new upgrade show up that says something to the effect of, oh, you have to buy a name. You have to buy the ability to update your name based on the money and experience that you have. So one thing we can do, I don't know if the upgrades should be linear, as in you have to basically do one at a time. You're working towards that one goal every single time. just to get to the point to where everything's unlocked before you start getting into like the ability to buy gifts, that kind of thing. I'm gonna say it probably should be linear to start until you get to a certain point. And then once you get to that certain point, with everything essentially being unlocked, then you can start moving around as you unlock those things. So I'm thinking we'll do that. So before, we're kind of doing this raw HTML piece here, for example. Now, if I wanted to have like 10 steps before I even have the whole interface unlocked, or whatever the path might be, because I need to be able to get promoted, I need to be able to buy gifts, so there's at least 2 other interfaces there. I need to be able to date, so I got to be able to select girls. Maybe an interface thing is to be able to search for a certain type of girl, or guy, whatever your preference is. So I'm thinking a linear thing. Yeah, I'm thinking a linear thing would probably be good. So let's do this. Let's do upgrade path. The first one, let's just give it 2 just to make sure it works. The first one, actually I want this to be an array. Oh, come on, CodePen. What are you doing to me? There we go. The first one's going to have a couple properties. So first one might be, so this already has an essential index of 0, this first element. So let's just say the first one is in fact by profile. So we'll do text, I guess, by profile. And then what we can do is say we need some type of note for what it actually does. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just do this. Unlocked is equal to false. We'll give it a name of profile. Get rid of you. Go away. So this should still be working. I'm not seeing any errors, which is good. Now, I don't know how their console works in reference to like JSON being invalidated or not, so we'll kind of need to play with that a little bit. So basically what I'm doing, let's just do another one. So after the profile, we'll just call it, just for testing, gifts by shop. Okay, so when I load, we need to have, basically we're starting at an upgrade level. Upgrade level 0. 0 meaning the first element in the array. Arrays start at 0. They do not start at 1. So we have this upgrade level, which means a 0 thing. So basically what that means is I should be able to, on ready, console.log upgrade path upgrade level. Cool. So now we see this happening here, which is good. That's a yay thing for us. I would prefer if I can assign that something though, because if I did legit JSON, yeah, all right, you know, we'll just do it this way for right now. I think we're gonna rework that again eventually, but it'll do. So what I want to do is build this button based on this. So what I could do, I could actually do that with jQuery. So on load, I basically want to know where we left off. In this case, we'll always assume 1. I'm not going to do any saving or anything in this specific instance in CodePen, mainly because it's going to be refreshing all the time. So we'll just assume it starts from 1 all the time, or starts from the beginning every single time. So what we can do is actually have a function to build our next upgrade panel. So let's go ahead and just copy this. So as part of the ready, meaning, hey, we need to get the game ready, let's go ahead and get in our interval function to start, and then move to the next. Yeah, that'll be fine. So let's build a function that says render upgrade. So we basically want to put this into a jQuery selector. So in order to do that, we want to select the upgrades h2 dot append input type button ID equals. This is going to be our upgrade path, upgrade level dot name, I guess. And then this is going to be dot text. And then we will kill that. So when we first build, we want to basically render that out. And naturally nothing happens. Why does that not surprise me? Upgrades, h2, append, input type button. Okay, cool. Wait, did that set it up though? Okay, cool. It sets it up after, which is good. So that's what I want. Boom. Bullshit. You should be working. Test worked just fine. Something's wrong up here then. Input type button ID is equal to upgrade path, upgrade level dot name, and value is equal to that. All right, so let's get rid of these. Oh, you worked. Oh, you know, name's probably not the best word for it. That's probably a reserved word now that I think about it. So let's do this as I think we just call it ID. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can just call it ID. So we'll call it okay. Then what we can do is steal you. Okay, cool. So that should be working. It looks like it is. Yeah, so we have our input down here, and it is saying profile button and by profile, which are the two parameters we did put into it, which is good. So now what we can do is actually set this up to, let's just say it's visible now. Now that we know it's visible, we basically want the ability to, when I click it, say, hey, we unlocked this upgrade, move on to the next one. So we need to do a couple things in order for that to happen. First things first, let's give it a class. We'll call this class, let's call it class upgrade. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. We also need to give it a index, right? So that's the idea behind it. Technically, do we already know the index? I think we already know the index because we know the upgrade level. Yeah, we should be okay with that. That shouldn't be a problem. All right, so what we need to do inside this render upgrade function is build the proceed to the next deal by using the selector here. So anything with the class upgrade once we click on it, I basically need to trigger the next upgrade in the line. So one way to do that is, well, there's a couple ways to do that. We either need to rerun the render upgrade function, and we basically can do that by passing in a number and then incrementing the upgrade level if it is not passed, like if a thing is not passed for it. So first things first, let's do render upgrade, and we're going to pass something to it. We're going to pass just true. Which will then var purchased is equal to false. We're setting it to false by default for a reason. Because on load, we want to start from 0. But what we can do is say we're going to test purchased. If purchased is true, upgrade level plus equal 1, otherwise null. Cool. When I click, I want to hide the previous button. I could clear it out and say anything after goes away. Yeah, I think that would actually work. Upgrades h2 dot. All right, so theoretically, no. What are you doing? It's not remove. I want upgrades h2 . What happens if I just click on you by default? Why are you not refreshing? Alright, so we're duplicating the profile button, which we don't want. When I click upgrade, saying it's true. Alright, so let's console log the upgrade level here. Okay, where's my stuff? Okay, well that's cool. Why are you not running? Jeez, that took forever. So we're not even rendering. This isn't even running. Okay. We gotta do some debugging here. Render upgrade purchase upgrade level plus equal 1. Console log the upgrade level. I hate how I have to update that. Alright, you should not be doing that. That's not upgrade level, bro. Upgrade level is a number. You should not exist. Why are you outputting there? Console log upgrade level. Oh, I'm so confused by this. This is the wrong output. You are not that. purchased upgrade level plus equal 1. Console log upgrade level. Yeah, something's not right now. Something's not behaving properly. Hang on, I'm going to refresh this damn thing. Or something's weird with CodePen. CodePen. Oh, okay, that's cool. Now you give me a bug. Thank you. Thanks, bro. All right, much better. So if I click that, buy shop, yay. So that's working, cool, yay. CodePen wasn't giving me an error, and it should have been giving me an error. Render upgrade, what were we doing? When I click upgrade, I want to render the upgrade true, cool. So by default, it's false. If purchased, it happens to be equal to true. We're gonna elevate the upgrade level by 1. We also need to remove upgrades h2 dot upgrade dot remove. Okay, that's, hang on here. What? CodePen, I'm not having fun with you right now, man. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's not inside of an H2. That's why. Cool. So we have that working. So when you run that, it destroys up to that amount, which means we just basically add. I don't think we necessarily need this unlocked piece right now because it's a linear thing. We'll get rid of that for right now. But basically the way it works is we can say buy profile and then buy shop. So what we can do is have the very first one that says buy upgrades. And then it'll unlock the upgrade panel, for example. And then we can get to the buy profile. So let's go ahead and set this up so that when I buy profile, something happens, which is good. So before we had this upgrade profile button to show and hide this thing. Now what we can do is basically in the update function tie divs specifically to our upgrade level to basically say, hey, we're going to show this if our upgrade level is higher than something. Or we can leave it as upgrade profile. It doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just do that real quick on our update display function. We can do something that says upgrade level is greater than or equal to I guess we could technically just do equal to, so it fires once. Yeah, we'll just do so it equals once. Then we can basically say profile.show. Otherwise, do nada. Cool. So I should be able to click this, and then in our next iteration, it didn't do crap. That's cool too. Why didn't you do crap though? Display money upgrade levels equal to 1. That's because I can't type. Are you refreshed? By profile. Huh. Okay, what the heck? Why are you not updating again? CodePen, what are you doing? Bet you have some error again. Yeah, what the hell? This is gonna get annoying. Bro. Yeah, this might get moved off of CodePen. Just saying. All right, so let's try that again. By profile, boom, yay, profile is unlocked. So that seems to work out pretty well. Profile stays unlocked, mind you, because I'm setting it up based on, hey, if it's equal to 1, move on. Now this, if we think about just processing and cost savings, this isn't really cost effective from a processing standpoint because upgrade level is going to be equal to 1 for a while. Before actually something happens. So one thing you actually can do is say something up here to do something like unlocks, what do we call it, profile. So the div name, for example, over here, we could do that. And then what we can do is say, hey, once I click on this upgrade, we'll assume, again, we can assume that everything might unlock some other type of display. You might want something in here that says type display unlocks profile, whatever. But I'm just going to assume everything's going to do some type of display, because then what I can do is actually say this and then do upgrade path, upgrade level dot unlocks show, which basically means what I can do is get rid of this whole line here and then also get rid of this whole chunk here, I think. So now when I do this, profile is now unlocked, and we're not running that code every single time now, because we're actually running it off of this. So yeah, that's a good first thing. So let's do the same thing here, just so we can see it. Unlocks shop. So let's just go copy this over here. Say shop. Okay, let's give these guys classes. I like to do this, and then instead of doing that, we can just do that. Makes my life a little easier. So theoretically, I should be able to hit profile. We'll see profile unlocked, yay. Now I should be able to do shops, and we see shops unlocked, yay, and the buttons go away. So we kind of have that dynamic interface being built as you play. Now, again, there's no cost associated to those quite yet, so we do need some type of cost. The question is, does it cost money? Does it cost work? Does it cost a combination of the two? So for now, let's just do XP, just because. So we can just add another property inside here. We might say something like cost. We'll just say 10 for giggles. Actually, we'll do 5 for this first one. And then over here, cost 10. Yeah, so we're just gonna assume that it's XP because it's a click action. Actually, no, let's just leave it at money. So we have to wait 5 seconds before we can unlock the first one, and then wait 10 seconds before we unlock the second one. So in order to do that, though, over here when I click, I need to first make sure that I have enough money to actually cover that. So what we can do to do that is basically do a quick Boolean check to basically say if money is greater than or equal to upgrade path upgrade level dot cost. First thing we need to do is subtract that cost from our money. Then the next thing we can do is run our little branch there. We don't necessarily, we could use an else that says, hey, not enough money, like an alert or a notification. So for right now, we'll just do that as a console log. Console.log broke. All right, cool. So if I run this, I should see broke until I get to 5, which is good. Now I'm going to hit 5. Boom. Notice our money decremented, which is good. We see profile unlocked, which is good. We're still on broke until we hit 10. And then yay, shop is unlocked, and we see our money decrement. So we have a general flow working here. Yeah, so I think that's good so far. It's a good step towards fun. Again, this is all running off the update function. We can change this drastically. So if we say this, we want this to run every 10, our money goes very fast. If you want it to run strictly at the 1,000 mark, we can. I don't know if you can change this dynamically. I think once it's set, it's set. Yeah, I'm pretty positive. Once it's set, it's set without some type of refresh. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave this one here, and then we'll pick it up probably tomorrow. Excuse me. So thanks for joining, guys. There's the code pen. You have it. You can check it out on my profile if need be. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Adios.